My name is Olivia. This happened about half a month ago. I received a call from my mother-in-law, Lily, inviting me to a memorial ceremony. Yes, I'll come. I replied cheerfully, but inside I felt down. A memorial ceremony means Tommy and the others will be there too, right? That was my worry. My husband Ken and I got married about 3 years ago. During a family meeting back then, Ken's sister-in-law, Emma, said to me when the in-laws weren't around, "You're kind of plain. Disappointing to have someone like you as a sister-in-law." I was furious, of course, but I didn't want to make a scene, so I pretended not to hear. Then Ken's brother-in-law, Tommy, added, "I don't mind if you're plain or poor." Poor?
Yeah, your family's just average, right?
Well, yes.
Then you're poor. Not a good match for our family.
They mocked me like that. Ken noticed and stepped in quickly, so the conversation ended there, but it still hurt. What was that about? Even with all their money, they're poor in character. I complained later, but it was just a petty response. Because of that, I still don't like Tommy and his wife. No, it's more accurate to say I hate them. I don't want to see Tommy, but I already told Lily I'd come. Regretting, I went to the in-laws' house for the memorial ceremony. Their family runs a big company locally, so at their memorial ceremony, there were many guests. One after another, people arrived and greeted the in-laws. Ken and Tommy were greeting people too, while I stayed behind the scenes with Emma. Even while busy, Emma said to me, "I'm surprised a poor person like you showed up." "I'm not poor, and I came because Lily invited me." "Really? You're not here for the ceremony money?" "Of course not." "I can't believe it." Emma looked at me with disdain. It's really infuriating. Judging people by their appearance, always labeling them as poor? What kind of upbringing did this person have? I'd like to see their parents' faces. I muttered under my breath. Then, as if responding to my comment, Tommy's voice came.
"I'd like to see the family of a poor person too."
Tommy?
"You must have a plain face like yours, right?"
Tommy said, and I clammed up. Seeing me silent, Tommy gloated.
"From now on, can you not show your face around us? It's unpleasant just seeing a plain poor person."
Yeah, Tommy's right. Emma agreed with Tommy's words. I was so angry that I was about to retort. But then Lily came over to us. "What's going on? I could hear voices from over there." "No, Lily, it's nothing." Emma hastily covered up. Lily looked at me with concern.
"Olivia, you don't look well. Are you okay?"
"Oh yes, I'm just a little tired."
"So, we were about to have dinner,"
Lily said, and then Tommy exaggeratedly interrupted.
No, Mom."
"What's the matter, Tommy?"
"Ken and Olivia are going home now."
Going home?" Lily turned to me. Of course I had no recollection of saying such a thing. So they're telling us to leave. I realized immediately, but I wasn't sure how to respond. As I hesitated, Ken approached.
"Sorry, but we have an early start tomorrow."
"Is that so, Ken?"
"Yeah, so we're heading back now."
"Then let's have dinner another time," Lily said, smiling at me. Then Ken and I quickly left the in-laws' house. As we left the in-laws' house, Emma quickly followed us. Lily asked me to give this to you." Emma handed me something that looked like a thank you gift. Avoiding eye contact with a dissatisfied expression. "Thank you for going out of your way." I responded indifferently. Then Emma sneered. "Running away suits you." "Running away?" "That's right. Just run away and never show your face to us again." Emma spat out these words.
"If I could, I would,"
Ken replied calmly, making Emma's face turn red. "What did you say? Are you mocking us?"
"We're only doing what you asked, not to show our faces."
"Don't be ridiculous, you poor thing. That's exactly what I mean by mocking."
"My apologies, then. We'll be leaving now."
Ken quickly put his hand on my back and started walking. After walking a bit, Ken apologized to me.
"Olivia, I'm really sorry."
"Why are you apologizing, Ken?"
"Because of what Tommy and Emma did."
"You don't have to worry about it."
"But I feel responsible for you being called poor because of me."
Ken sighed deeply. It's been a while since I've seen Ken this downcast, maybe since the day we first met. That thought brought back memories of our first meeting. I met Ken when I was a university student. At that time, I was in the midst of job hunting. Hearing about a second round of recruitment at a local Boston company, I rushed onto a rush hour train for an interview. Then I made a big mistake. It happened when the train arrived at the station. Trying to get off, I was pushed by the crowd and dropped the envelope I was carrying. Oh no, my resume is in there. I reached out to pick it up, but lost it in the crowd. Where did it go? As the crowd thinned, I frantically started searching for the envelope. While looking around, I suddenly heard a voice from behind. Excuse me, are you looking for this? I turned around to see a man holding the envelope containing my resume. That's it! I lunged for the envelope, but it was wrinkled and had footprints on it. No, my resume is inside. They won't read it now, it's ruined. Just as I thought that, the man who picked up the envelope said, What's inside? Oh, it's my resume. I was going for an interview, but it's okay now. Sorry I stepped on it. No, it's my fault for dropping it. We both felt down. There was no time to rewrite it now. I decided to give up, thinking it wasn't meant to be. I took the dirty envelope, ready to go home. But the man, seeing me about to leave, said, It's too early to give up. I'll go with you and apologize. But, which company's interview is it? If I know the company, I can help guide you. The company I'm going to is... I told him about the company I was headed to. The man's expression brightened instantly. Then it's all right. But with this resume? It's fine. Dad won't mind something like this. He said with a smile. This man was my now husband, Ken. The company I was headed to for the interview was, in fact, Ken's family's business. Afterward, I went to the company with Ken, and he explained the situation to his father, Sam. I managed to have the interview successfully and got the job. Ken was kind to me after I joined the company, and we started dating. That leads to us getting married about 3 years ago. Thinking back, he was even more upset than me at that time. Remembering all this, I couldn't help but smile. Ken, unaware of my thoughts, continued with a downcast expression. It's my fault, isn't it? I left the company a year ago. What do you mean? Remember, I left Dad's company a year ago. That's why Tommy and the others are acting up. I'm really sorry. Ken apologized, looking guilty. Tommy and the others had been mocking me since we first met, but their taunts were directed only at me. Ken never received any bad remarks before. But that changed a year ago, with his resignation. Ken, having graduated from university, worked at Sam's company. He was one of the heirs apparent, holding a fairly high position. Then, one day a year ago, Ken came home from work and said to me, Olivia, I quit my job. Why? I was obviously shocked. With a normal company, there could be various reasons, like downsizing due to poor performance. But Ken worked at Sam's company. Even if he had made a mistake, it's hard to imagine him being fired on the spot. It's more likely that people would have tried to downplay the issue. Yet without any warning, Ken quit. Confused, I asked him again, Why did you quit? There were various things. Tommy or Sam? No, well, it's a bit. Ken hesitated. It seemed like a difficult topic for him to bring up. Then it can't be helped. I sighed. Then I told Ken. Got it. Do you have another job lined up? Olivia, aren't you angry? Why would I be? Your husband just quit his job on his own. Normally, this is where divorce comes up. What? What are you talking about? Well, because there'll be no salary. Listen, I didn't marry money. I married you. Do you understand? Yeah. Money's important, but it's not everything, right? That's true, but... Let's take this opportunity to show Tommy and the others that we can be happy without money. After I said that, Ken suddenly looked down. With tears in his eyes, he kept his head bowed. Sorry, Olivia, and thank you. All right, then starting tomorrow, we'll work hard on living frugally. Thus, Ken left Sam's company. Afterward, he switched to a cleaning company that had a contract with Sam's company. It was owned by an acquaintance of Sam's, but that was it. Ken's salary was typical for a mid-career hire, and his work was the same as other employees. It involved dirty jobs and overtime. It must have been tough for Ken, who was used to intellectual work. Still, he never complained and kept working. Of course, I did everything I could, too. I started part-time at a grocery store and suggested moving to a cheaper apartment. I focused on cooking economical meals and avoided luxury items. We tried our best to live happily on a small income, but Tommy didn't care about that. Seeing our reduced income, he mocked Ken like this.
Dragged down by a poor person. Now you're officially a poor couple. Congratulations.
Moreover, Emma said to me, You moved to a moldy apartment, right? It's not moldy. You don't have to pretend. I'll give you a housewarming gift.
A housewarming gift?
Yes, this.
Emma handed me insecticide and disinfectant wipes. Seeing my grimace, Emma said,
You'll need a lot of these, right? Your old apartment must be full of pests.
Thank you. I responded with sarcasm, but Emma just smiled maliciously.
No need to thank me. It's the richest duty to give to the poor.
I see. I could only respond coldly. So Tommy and Emma began to belittle not only me, but also Ken. But I might be reaching my limit. I sighed. Then Ken gently hugged me. I've caused you so much trouble, Olivia. From now on, I'll go to my parents' house alone.
It's okay.
No, you don't have to go.
But if I don't, Lily will...
It's fine. I'll say you're not feeling well or something. I'll make excuses.
Okay, thank you, Ken. After this conversation, I decided that the memorial ceremony at the in-laws' house would be my last visit. However, the decision to avoid the in-laws' house was something Ken and I made together. The in-laws knew nothing about it, so they kept inviting us over. But each time I made excuses not to attend. It seemed like the in-laws were worried about me, but there was nothing I could do. Meanwhile, Tommy and Emma were gloating. They bragged to employees and acquaintances that the house and company were now theirs. It was frustrating, to say the least. Still, I didn't have the right to correct them. Even when I heard such stories from people at Sam's company, all I could do was let them pass by. Then one day, I got a call from Lily after a long time.
Olivia, how's your health?
Well.
Having used health issues as an excuse to stay away from the in-laws' house, I could only give a vague response. Sensing my situation, Lily hesitantly asked, Actually, we're planning a family trip.
A family trip?
The husband got invited by a luxury hotel. They said, please come with your family.
I thought about how different it is for wealthy families when Lily continued with concern.
So I thought it would be good for you, Olivia, and I booked for the whole family.
For me?
You haven't been coming to the house recently because you've been feeling unwell. I thought you could relax there. They even have a pool.
I was moved to tears by Lily's thoughtfulness. Moreover, Lily shared a secret episode with me. Hearing that, I'll go, I immediately said. But after hanging up, I felt a bit of regret. I might cause trouble with Tommy and Emma and inconvenience the in-laws. The thought made me hesitant. Still, having committed to going, I had to be prepared. When Ken came home, I told him the situation, and we decided to go on the family trip. On the day of the trip, as we arrived at the meeting point at the station, Tommy and Emma were already waiting. Emma spotted us and approached briskly. Why did you come, you poor thing? As a son's wife and an outsider? Could you not act like you're part of the family? If I, as a son's wife, am not family, then Emma, you also are a son's wife, so you are not either, right? What? I'm the wife of the eldest son. I'm the family who'll bear the important heir. Her self-serving logic was exasperating. While this was happening, Lily and Sam arrived. Lily immediately came over to me.
It's been a while, Olivia.
It has been. Nice to see you.
I'm glad you're looking well. Enjoy the trip.
I will. I glanced at Emma, who seemed quite frustrated. Internally saying, serves you right, to myself. I followed Lily towards Sam. We then took a train to a high-end hotel in a famous tourist area. As we walked through a street lined with souvenir shops, Lily said,
There's a store my husband and I want to visit. Could you go ahead to the hotel?
Sure, I can take care of your bags. Emma volunteered like a child.
Oh, thank you. Then I'll leave it to you.
Lily said this and went off somewhere with Sam. As soon as the in-laws were out of sight, Emma started complaining to me. Can't you just go back even now? Why should I? Because I don't want to travel with a poor person. We can't go back now. Everything is already booked. You can make up some urgent matter. No, I won't. I firmly refused and started walking towards the hotel. Emma Grumpy followed me. Then from behind, she threatened, "If you won't go back, I'll make you." "What?" "Nowadays, you can cancel reservations over the phone or online." Emma took out her mobile phone. "Please stop." I grabbed her arm. At that moment, Tommy's loud voice echoed around us.
"So desperate to stay at a luxury hotel, huh? You poor thing."
Turning around, Tommy stood with his arms crossed, glaring at Ken and me.
"Tommy, cut it out. I'm getting angry, too,"
Ken retorted sternly. But Tommy unfazed.
"I get why a poor person wants to stay at a luxury hotel, but you're just a nuisance to the family. You get that, right? I don't understand you at all, Tommy. Enough. Have you lost your mind along with your money, Tommy?"
Tommy pointed at Ken. I had reached my breaking point. Furious, I approached Tommy without holding back. "Always going on about being poor. What do you want to say? The value of money is different for everyone."
"Huh. A poor person like you talking about the value of money? Poor people should just stay quiet."
"Shut up. No matter how much money you have, it's worthless if your character is this bad."
"What? Are you saying I have a bad character?"
"Oh, didn't you realize? You're incredibly spiteful."
"Just shut up and listen."
Tommy tried to grab me. At that moment, Ken stepped in between us. He grabbed Tommy's arm and said,
"If you dislike us so much, why don't you just cut ties?" "That's right, I'll throw you out,"
Tommy shouted, just as Lily's voice came from behind.
"The one leaving is you, Tommy." Mom."
Tommy turned around in a panic. He quickly straightened his clothes and approached Lily.
Mom, I didn't do anything."
"Didn't do anything? I know everything." Lily scolded Tommy. Emma, looking flustered, joined in. "It's not like that, Lily. It's Olivia who—"
"How shameful. You really don't know anything."
Don't know anything?" Tommy and Emma looked puzzled. In front of them, Lily started to recount the episode she had told me. It was a story from just over a year ago. Ken, who was working at Sam's company at the time, was heading to a client. Normally, he would use a company car for such trips. But that day, all the cars were in use. So Ken took the train to the client. Getting off at the station near the client's office, Ken found a young boy about elementary school age, looking around the platform, clearly searching for something. Ken saw himself in that boy, reminiscent of when we first met. So he approached the boy.
"What's wrong, kid?"
"I dropped my wallet." The boy explained that he lived in Portland. His parents were busy with work and hardly had time to go out with him, so he decided to visit his relative's house alone. He had his parents' permission, but soon realized he'd lost his wallet.
"So you were looking for your wallet?"
"Yeah, I can't get home without it." The boy looked close to tears, but where he lost the wallet was unknown. Ken, feeling sorry for the boy, gave him a few $10 bills.
"Use this to get to your relatives. You can borrow the fare for the return trip."
"Really?"
"Of course, and remember to report your lost wallet to the station staff."
"Got it." Ken was about to rush to his appointment, but then the boy stopped him. Ken thought the boy wanted to return the money.
"I'm in a hurry. You don't need to give it back,"
Ken said. But the boy said, "To me, a few tens may not seem much, but to you, it might be worth more, right?" At first, Ken didn't understand what he meant. As he listened more, he realized the boy's point. To the receiver, the money is just its face value, but for the giver, it's earned with the support of family and friends. Therefore, having money means that you have that much support. Thus, giving money carelessly to a stranger, especially a child, isn't right. The boy shared these thoughts, not necessarily correct. But Ken was moved by the education the boy received about the value of money. He followed the boy's wishes. Eventually, the boy, insisting on returning the money, took Ken to his relative's house. There, the relatives thanked Ken and returned the money. By then, Ken was late for his appointment. The client was understanding, but someone didn't accept this. The person who didn't accept this was Tommy. Without listening to any reasons, he said,
"Unacceptable. Tardiness is tardiness. Take responsibility." "All right, Tommy, I'll resign."
And so Ken left the company. Lily concluded the story.
"The child insisted on expressing his gratitude and invited us to the hotel."
"Wait, so staying at the luxury hotel is because—" Emma turned to Ken with a look of surprise. Lily nodded.
"Yes, he wanted to return the favor by offering his service." "But he never mentioned such a thing."
Tommy snapped at Lily. Lily glared back. You just didn't listen to the story. But, be quiet. More importantly, Sam has something to say to you. Lily turned, revealing Sam standing behind her. Sam approached with a stern face, showing Tommy a stack of documents. Do you know what this is, Tommy? Dad, is this from accounting? Yes, there were many oddities, so I had it investigated. Oddities? Tommy's face filled with anxiety. I realized what was coming next. Ah, Tommy had done something wrong. Soon, Sam's angry voice filled the air. Tommy, you've been embezzling company funds. That was my money. No, it's different, Dad. What's different? The investigation results are in. But, enough, no excuses. If you make excuses, I'll file a criminal complaint. Do you understand? Ugh! Tommy collapsed to the ground, speechless. Sam then turned to Emma. Emma, you're complicit, aren't you? No, I didn't. Buying up luxury brands, it seems. When Sam said that, Lily pulled out a stack of receipts from her bag. Showing them one by one, she said to Emma, I got copies from your favorite stores. You've been living quite comfortably, haven't you? No, that's not true, Lily. What's not true? They're all in your name. But this is my... Paid for with company money, right? Be prepared for a lawsuit for damages. Lily smiled, her gentle tone somewhat more intimidating. Emma, trembling with anger, turned to Tommy. It's all Tommy's fault, everything. Don't blame me. It's because of your spending. Shut up. You're useless to me now. Why? You're getting fired for misusing company funds. I have no use for a poor man. What? That's my line. I don't need you. We're getting a divorce. After that, Tommy and Emma were sued by Sam for damages. Although criminal charges were not pursued, Tommy was kicked out of the house. Additionally, due to misconduct, he was fired from the company. Now he's working at a construction site from dawn to dusk to pay back the compensation demanded by Sam. Meanwhile, Emma divorced Tommy. Unable to pay the damages after the divorce, she turned to her parents, who quickly paid Sam. However, they were strict with Emma. They demanded she repay the money they spent. Left with no choices, Emma started working at a club. But without a steady clientele, and struggling even to buy makeup, she became impoverished. She's now known as a poor person in her circles, living days filled with regret. As for Ken, he reunited with the child at the luxury hotel. When we greeted him, the boy thanked his parents for raising him to be praiseworthy. He's now striving to take over the family business as a way of giving back. He encouraged Ken to keep striving too. Hearing this, Ken nodded firmly. Later, persuaded by Sam, Kim rejoined Sam's company. He's now working hard to be Sam's successor. I, too, am making an effort to continue supporting Ken in his endeavors.